And as you have created rotation, the interaction of the two will create the appropriate fields which allows you to lift and to descend. You've seen these hollow centers in the original single core multi-GANs when you fill it in. Now you dictate the hollow center and you dictate where you want and what you want to be in it. This is how even in the center of the what do you call stars, center of galaxies work. You will understand one thing in this process, which is some of you will see very rapidly, and that is this. In the center core, you will see different features. Something you have to see, you look for, is something like a GANS material, black material in the center. This is important. This, when you see this dark center in the center core, this is not nanomaterial. This is what you call the principal field. This is what you call in galaxies or universes the black hole, because it absorbs most of the energy and radiates most of the energy both ways, what it needs to be according. And with the water here, you dictate most of the condition, how much is absorbed and what is returned. That's the filtering according to our structure. This sodium with water, and especially if you add to all these things the amino acid, balances according to our structure, physical structure on this planet. So in what you will see is something in the region of 10,000 RPM plus. This is where you need to be. You need to understand that the whole structure is and will be a system which, if you place this in the center of your stacker becomes the energy deliverer. You have lift and energy. What you need, you absorb. And your stacker dictates more or less the boundary of your shelter. This is the option if you go through the GANS process and go through the motor process. In the universe, there are no motors. In the universe, there are no what I call pumps. For those of you who understand technology in a plasma field and understand why we are going ahead with the generators and you're happy with 3 to 5 kilowatts, as I've said in the other teachings, I'm sorry for you. It means you still stay in a matter state. What we are trying to achieve from these generators is a continuous supply, something in the region of 20,000 volts. We are not looking, you are looking for that. We are looking for this, because at this level, fed into and operated as a field, you will create lift and motion without any matter state. This is where the foundation work is going. That's why I'm not very interested. We have to keep you happy with 3 to 5 kilowatt, but we are looking for a 20,000 volt minimum continuous supply with a current flow, a very, very small current flow, anything around about that kind of energy. Too fast flow cannot allow creation of the condition. 1 amp is too much. 1 milliamp is bearable. In the plasma, for those of you who understand the terminology, we need a potential difference that allows the creation, but with a very slow movement. That's what the current means. Flow, creation. And if the flow is too fast, you will destroy everything you have. Or you can go on the other end of something like 0.5, 0.75 amp and create a hurricane of fields, and then that compresses the field to give you the central, what you call the black hole. Then you create a condition of existence. You have to decide which way you go. We are going and we are developing in a very rapid way in this direction. Because going through the mechanical system, as we've shown you, is laborious, it has failures. Now, with creating a plasma field flow on a solid state that can guarantee this, then we can allow a small amount of field flow as we like, or a rapid current flow. Understand what's the difference between the voltage and amperage. We need a high potential difference with a very little flow, that it allows us to create what we need, or we can go in a higher level and create a faster flow together. Now you understand, if you create a plasmatic flow as we are doing from the operation of the new generators, we are not looking for atomic electron vibration for a current as you consider it to be important. We are heading into a space technology, and the space technology works on these kind of conditions. We are running these systems on the back of advanced knowledge, but we have to break it in steps that you can catch up. We are running on stages that things can be done in accordance to the work of the universal system, not electron and electrical vibration. The knowledge, as I said, is going very rapid, and a number of you are catching up, and hopefully you teach each other the way you've done with the GANs and the nano coating and the rest. Now, if you see, if you understand, I hope you did, is you created the nanomaterial, you created the GANs plasma. Now we are heading, and we have achieved this emptying of the center core in the innovation center. With holding the material outside and achieving field plasma inside only. And this is our target, to achieve interaction of the fields, that the interaction of the fields creates the plasma. If you go back to the book number 1 and understand it, and in the videos which is on the internet, we say when the fields interact, they tail up and they create the plasma. We came from the matter. Now in this one we create this, and in this one we create this, and you see what happens. We start building a plasma which we decide of this plasma to be aircraft, to be spaceship, to be a car, to be the atom of an beginning of amino acid. So in the universe, we can build whatever we like from it. This is the end, the completion of the knowledge. This is important because you have seen this before. Running a ball with a GANs and achieving a hollow center while there is still matter around. Now we have compartmented. We decide exactly where this goes and how it's going to be, and when we stop the motor, still the center should stay without matter, which means we start confining and controlling the plasma inside. It's not that the matter has leaked out, is that the fields inside is strong enough that it can hold the return of the plasma into matter state. This is where we gotta be, and this is where we are heading for. A lot of you are busy with different part of this technology, but those of you who are coming with us along with the process, you have to realize the first house evacuation, I call it, is completed by the Innovation Center. Because the container inside is empty, but the second core is still full. Where there is no loss. It's the conversion of the field forces, because now everything is in a GANs state into the energy, and in that process the next step is to empty section B. And if we manage to do that in the next few days, then we will achieve the lift and power generation in a much, much simpler way. There is no need for motors, there is no need for anything. Because if we manage to create a power supply which can create a voltage difference of, let's say, 20,000, you have magnetical and you have gravitational. If we can feed these two in opposite direction to each other, then you will understand the process. There is no need for liquid. You go directly into the field in the plasmatic, and as these are created in the plasma condition, this is what it gives you all the time. In the teaching before, I've explained very simple: alkaline and acidic, positive, negative, north pole, south pole. Gravitational, magnetic. This is all the same thing. There is no difference. It depends in what language of science you want to speak. But if you understand it's the same terminology for the same thing, you understand how you can lead from one to the other as you need it. Your knowledge has become advanced enough to understand this. There are a few of you in the background who understand this process and are getting very much knowledgeable in this work. As I said, atmosphere, Coulomb's barrier, anything else you want to call it, is the terminology for the same thing. If you call it the atmosphere, Coulomb's barrier, the skin of the man, is the same. So you understand how you operate amongst it and where you can go to the other. We started as matter state, nano, GANs, step by step. We built it up. We became liquid plasma. We talked about the vapor because that's how it moves from one to another, and we became into what we call the field plasma. And we've seen it. And in that process of the field plasma, we can decide where we want to end up and what we want to do. Unified field theory. They all come from, and depending on the conversion, where you want them to be according to the strength. So those of you who work and are working even with the situation of the disasters to come, you have to decide which part of the technology you want to handle to achieve the same. If you manage to understand the further part, your solid has shown has difficulties. Nanomaterials has handling difficulties. Gases have power, but we don't know how to handle them in power except containing it. When you go to liquid plasma, you find freedom in accessibility because you know it's there. Then when you come to the vapor, you have very little amount of knowledge about it because it's a transition. And then when you come to the fields, you find out this is actually the field plasma. And everything can be taken from it. It's you who's got to decide which section you want to work. You're happy to make a patch and give it to somebody for the pain, or you're happy to work with a field. The patch can be the food, can be the patch for the pain, can be the energy for recovery, can be the energy for transportation, can be energy for warmth. A lot of you who, even we've seen it with the Chinese last week, they're replicating the work of what was shown with the bottles. You see direct transformation from liquid plasma to field plasma of interaction with another field plasma of a car in reduction of the fuel. So some of you have already start understanding the field plasma by its results, because the liquid creating the field and the field interaction with the matter state give the desired effect. But understanding the difference in strength, you have to understand the creation of the flow from one to another, which gives you the current. Those of you who understand the last sentence have broken into the world of the universal energy. The larger the potential difference, the deeper in the knowledge of man, in the work of the universe. If you understand this, or in the future people who listen to these teachings will understand it, the potential difference in plasmatic from magnetical to gravitational is the span of universe. The smaller is a matter state. maybe with this picture on the table covers the whole of the past 3 years teaching and maybe the whole knowledge of humanity. So simple. The center of universe sits here, but the earth on the edge of the universe sits there. The further and the weaker, higher potential difference with a slower rate of flow, matter state is possible. Now you understand how you fit in there in the matter state and you don't see the totality. You can convert one to the other. You still get the same result. You can introduce fields that still within this bracket, but you dictate where performance to be. And this is what you call the transmutation of the plasma, not the element. Is the plasma which manifests itself in a matter state. Is the plasma which does the transmutation, not the element in the matter state. In all the teachings from the beginning, I explained when the sun radiates its fields, it does not make iron or calcium. It releases a field that in interaction with the environment and a given condition, that field package fits into, let's say, oxygen, according to the rest of the environment which is created. Now you understand this and this is the translation of the same knowledge. This is one of the reasons we are not pushing with production of the generators. We are pushing for a further down the road, maybe the 3 or 4 weeks, a lot of you start making these things, and then you understand why have we done so much. Because in so many ways, the generators you are going to create is not for electricity. It's the tool for you to be able to release the power of the plasma in using what you have already built as what we call the stacker unit that allows you to create what you need by creating the potential difference according to your need. You decide the current flow. This is a change of using electrical vibration to potential plasmatic level balance. Next week, when we start back into the process of development and teaching in Valletta, we will show you how things can be done. I try to make it more practical for you to see and more understanding of the technology. In that process, we can change a lot of things. In that process, we can create a lot of things without actually ever having any material. If you are testing for production of materials with the different cores, you are doing the same thing as creating potential difference and the interaction between the fields, that the balance interaction in respect to the condition you determined, will give you the material which you need. If you are testing and producing different materials, send the video to the foundation. We'll show it. We'll let you explain it. If you are in the process of developing new generators, share the knowledge with us. More or less, what you have as the generator is not the electricity generator, is a plasma generator, and that plasmatic energy is what you need to achieve everything else which you need from it. As I said, your generator goes to a plug where you put your loads in. In so many ways, the appliances you connect to these loads gets the plasma and become food, energy, material, medicine, or motion. You can dictate which plug what to give you, and it'll work that way. I show this very clearly in Rome last year, where I put a DC 110, DC 220 to the same plug. This should have given you a lot of information. But at that time, you didn't have the knowledge you have today. A lot of you are working on the mechanical systems. A lot of you, I tried even to explain in the teaching past 12 months, how to manipulate field. Maybe we can understand a piece of knowledge we shared. I just explained to you the current flow and the potential difference. Do you remember putting the two hands and creating the field? There is no difference. You went a very long way producing the gas, producing the field to get what you want. The gas is your body, the field difference, the potential difference is within your structure. You yourselves are a source, and you have never seen it. Man has always demeaned himself. Do you need to build up reactors? Do you need to create the plasma fields? You're looking to create a potential difference, to create what you want. Within your body structure, you already have it. You have forgotten the electrodes, your right hand, your left hand. And if you are more knowledgeable about the existence, your left brain, your right brain, you don't know the physicality of the hand. Goes back in the teachings. As I said, in the physical structure of the brain of the man, there are positions that you can lift yourself. You can create your own shelter. If you are physical, you look for the hand. If you understand the science of control of the fields at a higher strength, you can go inside your brain. And then you'll find out the biggest mystery to the man. And your biggest mystery is, do you need the spaceship, or the spaceship you've chosen is the physicality of the man himself? Blessed who are wise to understand. You're still looking for this and this, where in fact you can have access. If it's your emotion or central control, what you call the soul, which decides for you to have a blue eyes and black hair and one toe longer than the other, if you understand within yourself what you have, why doesn't it become a spaceship? The body of man is a spaceship he is chosen to be at the present condition of this planet. This is a secret, and none of you will understand, because at the moment you're too physical to feed the physicality to exist. You've forgotten that the physicality is fed by the soul itself and the emotion as a controller. Go back to part of teaching in the past 2 or 3 years. I've mentioned this many times. You have the control as emotion, and you have the supply as the soul. You have decided to take the shape of the physicality of the man. If you understand this, then you become one of the most advanced creatures of the universe, because you decide in how you want to manifest yourself, or to be seen, or to have contentment, that you are happy with what you have in the condition you have. Don't forget, in a lot of teachings I say, when you arrive at the destination point, you convert to how the structure you carry will take shape according to the environment it manifests itself to. So it's your soul who has decided you stay to be equal and balanced with other souls and the structures, which is 2 hands, 10 fingers, 10 toes. So the process is very simple. We are not teaching you ethics. We are teaching you pure plasma physics. You do not need, this part of teachings are those who are close to their soul and understand the interaction of the motion of the man within the structure of the boundary of the environment they exist. This to the rest of you is hullabaloo, because that's where your brain stands, at the hullabaloo state, till you find out which one is hollow and which one is blue. You have to understand where within the structure of yourself you create a dimension of the totality. Is the soul of the man within the center of the structure of the brain, the nucleus? Is the emotion, the electron, which the interaction creates the Coulomb's barrier, which is the physicality of the man? If you understand this, then it's you who decides in the fields of the universe where you want to be. You want to be as an atom, you want to be as a molecule, and the structure of the molecule where you want to be in that structure. Look at the chemical chains they put on the table for you. You decide where you want to. Then is the body of the man, through the strength of his emotion and the power of his soul, has decided to carry the spaceship of the body of the man. I have given you the knowledge of the creation. It's for you to decide in what level you are happy to exist with. And those who understand will be here in 1 second and somewhere else. And to the eyes of those who see them on the way, they see them in the spaceship of the universe. I have given the knowledge for every level of intelligence of the man, and the pride of him to confirm his own existence. It's for you to decide in which part you fit in. And because you find out you know nothing, we become a sect. We become another fake. We become another process that You don't understand, and you have to justify your meager existence and lack of understanding. I've been over this teaching before. It's a repetition for those who have gained more knowledge. Do I need to make a system which you stand in the middle of it, or can I use the energy of the soul and two hands and remove the cancer or whatever? What's the difference between my two hands with the fixed energy, because you have amino acid, I have amino acid, then putting a lot of cores to create the same air? Or do I need to put my hand on your head and energize or give to your soul through your emotion that you change the strength of the release of the energy from the soul, the way you saw the ball receiving too much energy, you got rid of the outer boundary. But with the receiving of the energy at the level which you need, you change the boundary or what is within the boundary of your physicality, you walk out without cancer. I don't need a machine to show you. I have every knowledge the man needs. It's just that which language and which class of knowledge I speak to. Are you in the nursery, which mankind has been up to now, or are you prepared to come to the class 1? I can teach you PhDs and graduates. You haven't even got out of the nursery to get into class 1 up to now with the knowledge the man carries. I'm the master of teaching, but I have to understand how much you understand. Try, some of you. I reckon maybe a few thousand people who listen to these teachings ever will be able to reach even this state in totality. Let alone this and understanding this. But the knowledge is given, as the teaching is not just for human race, we are teaching across the universe. Each one who has reached different level will understand what is the next level and what they have to do. So we enlighten. Understanding of the process of the creation is simplicity. When you don't understand it, it becomes cumbersome, it becomes difficult to work with. The potential difference is the understanding of the man himself. And the current flow is what is prepared to give from the emotion from one to another. This is the soul of the man, and it's the flow from it to its physicality, or its acceptance of one field to another. Those of you who made the machine and show you can make gold, I can sit in front of you and see you will shower gold in front of you like a rain. Because I don't need to create these, because these sits within the center of the physicality of my body, and the emotion controls what I want you to see. You feel it, you eat it, you touch it, you take it to the bank and they pay you millions for it. But don't tell them it's showering gold in my house. Somebody is sitting there and doing it. You can do it yourself. If the intention of the giving gold is freedom of the man. Freedom of another soul. Elevation of the level of understanding of another soul. As I said, the teaching, every time we teach right across from now on, because we don't need to speak about the nano and GANs. We speak about the higher level that you can catch up, that you can see what is ahead. Those of you who understand it, you don't need to have any PhDs or be professor. It touches your soul, you understand the knowledge, because it's very much like the system you put alkaline and acidic, and alkaline and acidic, you create the motion and everything created, and there is nothing left, because now you have the totality in your grasp. Try to work with me from now on the level of understanding the fields, and then you can stand in front of yourself, and one day people see you as a spiritual. This is how a large number of the universal travelers travel. That's why you see them as human today, and tomorrow they are dead. They move on, because they have learned through their emotion control and the soul to appear to be the physicality of the presence of their own existence, to experiment, to taste the environment of the interaction of the physicality. Those who achieve this are of one of them, nearly the edge of the science of the creation, and there are many in the universe. You see them amongst you, and tomorrow they are not there. You see them 1 second there, the next second they are not. Because it's the strength of manifestation which allows you to see what they want you to see. Because that's what they've chosen. Those of you who are of this breed and listen with the ear of the man, it's time to teach the man. You understand the knowledge. It's time not to become the chameleon, but become the messenger of the soul for the humanity. There are many of these amongst the man, but man never knows them. Because that's how they're chosen to be. Any question?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Let me check some of the questions here, and if we have some viewers with their hand up, so we can move them into panelists so that they can ask their question.
Can I say this to one thing before I forget? Those of you who live in Italy with us, if you need any support for your family, or you are involved, or you got involved in this earthquake out of your choice, the line of the Keshe Foundation in Italy is for you, and we do everything in our effort we have to support and help you. The Keshe Foundation factory and the Keshe Foundation offices, manpowered, are ready to deliver what is needed only if we receive the request to do according to the law of Italy. You have to understand that we are talking to Giovanni and the Italian Keshe Foundation, to the civil defense people, and we need the collaboration with you, with the civil defense, that we can deliver the correct, and the work can be assessed, how it's been effective, what has been effective, and how it's been delivered, that in the coming of disasters, we can set a pattern for all the Keshe Foundations worldwide. If you are Italian and you want to help, you have the materials, please send a message to the Keshe Foundation Italy, and Giovanni and the people who are in the background will manage and will answer you back. We have set up meetings which Giovanni and I were attending in the coming days, that we can step forward the delivery of the technology into Italian community, because this is the beginning of many earthquakes in Italy. One or two, it can be handled, but it becomes many in a short time. The support which other nations run into the same problem needs to come from within the Italy, and luckily we have the structure here to do so. We do not allow anybody into the office of the Keshe Foundation in Barletta, but we're working through our offices and our contacts, and Giovanni is very busy with it, in delivering everything possible. I'll be in Rome trying to see what we can do, and I'll be in the factory in the coming days to make sure everything is in, that we are ready for the next generation of the earthquakes around Europe.
Get this one. Hello, Mr. Keshe. There is a question from Arya in the Q&A, who says, "Dear Mr. Keshe, can you please just explain or give an image to how to feel the potential difference between two hands or two sides of the brain?" And later here she adds, "in an emotional level."
Caroline has taught this in a couple of teachings in the what I call the KFSSI teachings. But you have to choose again. You want to show it in a physical way that is there with your hands, or if you want to show or control the fields through your emotion. You got to understand you have two parts of the brain. They work very similar but slightly different in the strength. And that slight difference in the strength is the essence of creation. Your right hand is not as strong as your left hand. Your one finger is not the same, do not have the same strength as the other finger of the same. Try to bring the parameters of the field of the hand through your arms and then through into your brain. You will feel the switch, because it's like a leverage. It's an infinity loop. You have your two hands and you have the two sides of the brain. That's why your left hand is connected to the right side and the right hand is connected to the left side. Because this is a power source. And this, the rest of the physicality of the man, is the other. And he has to be in balance by giving and taking. But the main source, as one piece, sits in the center of the brain, where the physicality, because of its shape, has shared itself. You call it chakras. The physicality carries part of the plasma, which is needed to create the totality of the plasma. And then man becomes one. It's you. Maybe this will explain a lot of things to those of you who understand. It's you who decides if your field is this way or this way. Are you magnetical or are you gravitational? And in what strength you want to give. Why people who are left-handed are closer to their emotion. is our left hand the process of your gravitational, and as it's more concentrated, you receive and give more. We always shake hands from the right, and this is what we give. This is our magnetic. We always put our hand to receive with the left, which is our gravitation. If you are left-handed, you write with the left, you give with the left, but you receive through the left, so you are more in balance. It's the same with the right, but is that way or this way? Try not to just look at your hand and put them near each other. Try to see how you position your fingers and what the feeling is by moving a small, little movement of one to the other. And then go back, follow it into your brain, and in the brain you find a position that you don't need the hands anymore. When we are back in teaching in the lab, when we start the teachings again in autumn, I'll try to bring systems which shows the soul of the man. I'll try to explain how you can see your own soul, interact with it, and elevate it yourself if your conduct is correct. We got to the stage that we can do this. We got to the stage that you can understand the process. I don't mean the whole thousands of millions of you. Listen, those who understand the elevation of the soul. We still go to the conferences, we show the energy system, but at the same time, we show how you don't need the energy system. You can create, change your own spaceship from body of a man to the space. First, understand how your physicality is connected to your emotion. And then understand how your emotion gives to your soul. You have to create, like the way you make nano coating and you decide what connects to where. You have to decide and start controlling the feeling of how you do what you do. And one of the ways to do it is, I teach this to people who have lost the will of the move, but the wish of the move. Which is, you have a part of the body which you cannot move, but you wish to do it, but the will has lost the movement. The way you do it, for example, you put a cup of water in front of you, you put your hand around it, but you don't touch it. It's no, you know it's there. If you want to hold it, to confirm its existence, you can do something. Then you send the information to your hand in the line of the emotion, not the neural system, that I want to pick the cup. You follow the information, but When it comes to the cup, you don't pick the cup. Then you know you have that power. Because you do everything so automatically, you've forgotten this. Do it for a second time and follow the information and where you want it to stop on the physical boundary. Let it a few seconds and do it for the third time. But third time, grasp the cup. That it confirms you understand. This way, you understand the root of the motion of the information, which is your emotion to confirm to your own existence, I can move the boundary. If you come to that point, next time, put your hands again around the cup. Send the same information the first time. The next time, you send the information from your brain to the cup. The third time, you lift the cup without the hand touching the cup. It needs a lot of self-discipline in understanding, and it needs a lot of understanding of one's emotion before you can achieve it. The first part, where you do it twice and the third time you grasp the cup, I've been using this for many years with my patients around the world. This is connection with the soul, but they look at it that they can move their hands, and they do actually do. People which have not moved their fingers and their hands for years, you ask them to do, open your hand, they will not do it because it's not there, but say concentrate, which means they're sending information. And you ask them for a second time, try to move your hand. Now they are thinking, they're following the flow. And then when you tell them the third time, they move the finger. We've shown this in past few weeks in Italy, where I take control of the movement of the hand because I do it through the emotion of the soul in conjunction with collaboration with the body, physicality of the body. And it's very easy. As I said, you want to see a star, I show you as many stars as you like in the sky that is all light. You want to see a shooting star, I show you as many as you like. Because this is how you become man of a space. Not by a spaceship, but understanding you are part of the space. The biggest pitfall with man is that he always sees himself as something different. The minute, the second, the instant you understand that you are part of the totality, you'll find out you have access to all of it because it's part of you. I'm made man in the image of myself. Try to understand. Very few of you at this moment comprehend what I'm talking about. In the coming time, as the education goes further and you go to further steps, more and more people understand. This is the knowledge which in small portions used to be given to some men. You call them the prophet and they abused you. Now you're all prophet. The knowledge, even what has been shared today from the beginning of the teaching, has never been shared with the prophet of the past. So you are receiving more knowledge than before. That's why when masses of you is teaching to the others and you come across the others, some people grasp you and they come with you and they learn from you, and the others reject. You have become prophets because you're sharing knowledge of the creation with the man of the earth. We used to send one, now we're making masses of you. Because this way the teaching is much easier. The man understands another man. So If you look, you're making, teaching how to make gas, how